Hello, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome in to this video for the solar shift into Sagittarius. So first things first, if you are new, hi, welcome in. It is wonderful to have you here. What we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about astrology, and then we are going to be using our own astrology, learning about it, and then tapping into the spiritual tools of the oracle cards to get guidance on how to best utilize our personal astrology during this season. So if this is your first time here, you may want to go watch my tutorial video on how to get the most out of these readings. It is not necessary, but it's a tool there for you if you want to know how to engage with this material in a deeper way. For those who are not new, hello, welcome back. It is so wonderful to have you guys here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a pleasure for me to offer this support in this way. It brings me so much joy, and I hope you guys all know how much I truly love you, care for you, and am excited for your journeys. If you want to support me, there's many ways you can do that. Just engage with this material. Share it with people you think it will align with. You can also comment on it and let me know what is resonating for you, what questions you have. You can also donate if you feel inspired at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. Link is in the description. And you can go to my website, devotedandvulnerable.com/services. Link is in the description if you want to learn more about the services that I offer. I offer card readings, I offer guided meditations, I offer a bunch of different other things, so go there and check it out if you feel called. No pressure. With all that being said, let's jump into Sagittarius season. I'm so excited to bring this energy to you guys. Sagittarius is my favorite sign. I am totally biased. I am a Sagittarian sun. I'm a Mercury Sagittarius. I'm a Saturn Sagittarius, and I'm a Uranus Sagittarius. So I am quite Sagittarian in my astrological makeup. Don't worry if that didn't make sense to you. Basically, I have a lot of Sag energy. So let's talk about what a solar season is. A solar season is when the sun, the spotlight of our solar system, is in a particular sign. The solar season of Sagittarius will start on November 22nd when the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius, and it will last until December 21st, until the solstice, when the sun will then move into the sign of Capricorn. So during this solar month, and I will refer to this as the month as we go through these readings. So please understand when I say this month, I do mean solar month, November 22nd to December 21st. We're going to be focusing on the Sagittarian energy, the Sagittarian archetype. So your readings are going to be based on where Sagittarius shows up for you in your chart. Essentially what planets, the sun, the moon, and or your rising sign exist in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, if you do not know what planets and aspects you have in the sign of Sagittarius, do not worry. This is part of what we do here in these readings. We learn about our astrology. To get caught up with your own astrology, to get access to your own chart, to know how to read it and find out what planets are in this sign, watch my tutorial video. I have this tutorial video created for how to find your birth chart information on astro.com. Link is popping up here, and it is also in the description if you want to go and enter in your birth data to that site. And you do need to know your birth time in order to access this information. So go ahead and watch my how to find your birth time tutorial to get caught up on how to find your birth time so that you have something to work with the chart generator. So we're going to be spotlighting the sign of Sagittarius by finding out what planet, the sun, the moon, and or the rising sign is in Sagittarius. You will watch the readings and the explanations for every single planet that you have in Sagittarius. So for example, I mentioned that my sun's in Sagittarius, so is my Mercury, so is my Saturn, and so is my Uranus. So technically I have 4 readings this month because I have 4 planets in the sign of Sagittarius. I know that might be a lot of information for you, but this is when the sun, the spotlight of our galaxy, is really highlighting these elements and aspects of your life. So it's really fun to dive into how this is showing up in your life, how this archetype may be expressing itself through you, through the planets. I'll describe in each video what the planet in the sign of Sagittarius really means before I dive into the reading and the advice. If you do not have your sun, the moon, your rising sign, or any of the planets in the sign of Sagittarius, there's a video for you called Background Sagittarius. I'll explain in that video what that means, but you can watch that video if you don't have any of those aspects. So a little bit more about Sagittarius. You want to look at your Sagittarian suns for this entire month as well. Watch how they shine. Watch how they act during this time. So anyone with a birthday between November 22nd and December 21st, I call it spying on the solar sign, so that you can really learn more about this energy. The Sagittarian archetype is the archetype of the archer. And the archer has this bow and arrow that it's aiming. And what is it aiming at? It's aiming at anything it wants to. But the thing that Sagittarius loves to aim at the most is truth. We love to aim at truth. Truth is one of our favorite things to aim at. It is essentially the energy of this archer and or centaur. So we can be adventurous. The Sagittarian sign is adventurous, congenial, which means likable, dreamy, very, very idealistic, very, very focused on what it is that we are wanting in our lives. We are optimistic. We're always looking at the positive side of things, and we are intellectual. So I say we because, yes, I am in the Sagittarian archetype, but this is going to show up somewhere in your life as well. So it refers to you as well, no matter where it shows up in your chart. So the modality of the Sagittarius, meaning the way that this energy expresses, is through the modality of what's called mutable. You see the little arch with the dot underneath it up there. And that's the symbol for mutable. Mutable signs are always the signs that happen during a change in seasons. So in the Northern Hemisphere, Sagittarius happens between the change from fall to winter. It's not quite winter yet, and fall's kind of winding down. And so the energy of the Sagittarius is very changeable, mutable, very adaptable. It's constantly shifting. The element of the Sagittarius is fire. It's represented here by the triangle. The triangle is the flame going up towards the sky. And so the element of fire represents the spiritual world, the spiritual realm. So when we put those two together, we have this changing spirituality. That is a lot of the essence of the Sagittarian archetype. Not only are we focused on truth, you have to be a seeker of knowledge in order to gain this truth. Through adventure and experience, we learn in our lives. And so it's this ever-changing spiritual nature of the Sagittarian archetype that we're going to be exploring and spotlighting for this entire solar month. I created a little explanation page here for you guys to show you a few different elements of the Sagittarian archetype. So you see here the symbol represented by the arrow. Next to it, we have, of course, the archetype, the archer. The planet that rules Sagittarius is the planet of Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion. It's all about luck. It's all about making things big and bright and energy. So the Jupiter energy is this amazing hugeness in our galaxy, in the story of the zodiac. And so it rules the Sagittarian sign because they're so very similar in their energies. The key word for Sagittarius is idealized. I would also say that the key word is truth. You can see here the constellation of Sagittarius. And again, we have the element of fire represented by the triangle, the modality of mutable, that changeable energy represented by the half circle and the dot, and the house of Sagittarius. So each zodiac sign represents or rules a house. So they go in the order of the zodiac story. So Aries is the first sign in the zodiac story, so it represents the first house. Sagittarius is the 9th sign in the zodiac story, so it rules and represents the 9th house. You can think of the planet as the what of your zodiac story, the sign as the how that what expresses, and the house as the where. So the where of the ninth house is very Sagittarian in energy. It is all about learning, travel, adventure, spirituality. It can deal with mental health. It can deal with higher learning. That is where the energy of the ninth house represents and shows up in our lives. Now, more about the houses will come through in my moon readings. The new moon in Sagittarius happens a day after this solar shift. So after you watch these videos, you definitely are going to want to watch the new moon in Sagittarius video, where we are going to be focusing on the house energies, where this new moon is showing up for us in our lives, and the advice that's coming through for the lunar phase of Sagittarius, which is going to start one day after the solar phase. All right. So for this reading, we are going to be consulting the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And if readings aren't your thing, please feel free just to watch the explanation of your energy and let yourself play with how that expresses throughout your solar month. But we can also use the cards to get more insight on how to really capitalize on this energy. The Isis Oracle wanted us to focus on freedom this solar phase. So freedom is a huge theme of the Sagittarian archetype. I haven't really talked about it yet, but it deals with this expansion. In order to be free, you have to be able to expand. In order to expand, you have to be able to be free. If you're confined, you're not able to expand and you're not free. So we're going to focus on how to get ourselves to open up to a more free way of living. That is what the Isis Oracle really wants to bring to us for this solar season of Sagittarius. So in order to focus on this freedom, the Isis Oracle is going to bring us this little poem, this little affirmation to say throughout our solar phase, to really activate within us this free expression that we are looking to embody during this Sagittarian season. This is a very, very powerful deck, and I am excited to share the medicine, the power, and the beauty and the wisdom that this deck has to offer. We have covered everything that we're going to cover here in this explanation video, and we're going to dive into our individual readings. This video is for you if the planet of Pluto was in the sign of Sagittarius when you were born. If you're already familiar with this energy and this archetype, you can scroll ahead to the card reading. So the planet of Pluto, in my understanding of the zodiac story, represents our inner child. And the zodiac sign that the planet is in represents how this inner child expresses itself. So your inner child is very Sagittarian in nature. It's adventurous, congenial, idealistic, optimistic, and intellectual. It has this adaptable spirituality energy to it. So when it comes to your inner child loves adventures. It loves to be hopeful. It loves to be optimistic. And it's always kind of guiding you to this energy and this vibration. Now, Pluto is a very, very, very slow moving planet, meaning it stays in the sign for a long time. It's a generational planet. Generational planets influence the generation and it gets more specific based on the house that it shows up in. So the house in our zodiac story represents where something expresses. So the sign is how and the house is where. So there's 1 in 12 options. So even though Pluto might be in Sagittarius for everyone born during a certain time frame, the house changes every 2 hours. So we all might have different houses in this area of our lives. Just letting you know a little bit more about the planet and a little bit more about its movement. This is a generational thing. Everyone in your generation has this vibration and this energy. Okay? Let's find out what the Isis Oracle wants to bring through for you. If you haven't already taken a few deep breaths, called in your spiritual support team, and opened your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you, I invite you to do that at this time. And this is to help our inner child achieve freedom. Oh, it's the third time this card has showed up. So if you have Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius too, triple message. Okay, truths unveiled, the revelation of Isis. Okay. Truths unveiled, the revelations of Isis. There are times when appearances of people, places, and things are truly deceptive. You will sense this when something feels uncomfortable within you, when you notice feelings of anxiety or doubt within you. You may think that there's something wrong with you, but actually you are intuitively sensing that something is not as it appears to be. It is wise to trust your inner feelings rather than being convinced by outward appearance. There is a situation in your life, especially involving relationships, where something is not as it is being made out to be. To avoid undue suffering later on, Isis guides you to truth and revelation now. So, here's our affirmation. We're going to repeat this over and over again as much as it feels supportive to us to help us unveil the truth that is being revealed here through this card. Okay, through this solar season, through this spotlight. It's like, okay, you can't hide anymore. The spotlight is on you. This truth will come out and it'll bring freedom with it. Thank God. Okay. So if you have YouTube, you can put the captions on. It'll help you write this down. Let me say a few words, pause it, write that down, and then press play again. And keep doing that till you've written everything down. Eventually I'll find a better way to do this, but right now this is what we're going with. Gift me with your vision now. End the distortion or the vow that blocks the eye within my brow. I receive this knowing clear, without doubt, shame, or fear. Lies and deceptions disappear. Revelation of Isis, come to me swift. Thank you for the sight, the truth, the gift. Confusion into clarity. I now do shift. There's this energy here of your inner child wanting to bring your attention to something that maybe your inner child knows and has been trying to like pull on your like skirt or shirt and be like, hey, something's not right here. Something's out of balance here. Something's not being presented as truth. And your inner child's kind of guiding you to that. There might also be something about your inner child that you're not understanding. But it does feel more like your inner child is trying to bring this truth to you that your inner child knows. So tapping into your inner child, spending time with your inner child, creating a relationship with your inner child. There's meditations you can do for that. There's just holding yourself that helps you do that. Letting yourself draw, letting yourself do something creative. Looking at pictures of yourself as a child can help you connect to your inner child. Lots of different ways to do this. Now, we want to use our affirmation and repeat it as often as feels supportive to us so that we can really embody this knowledge and really call upon this truth to be unveiled for us so that we can see truly, so that we can be free. Our inner child wants to be free, but there's something that we're not seeing that's keeping our inner child shackled. And so we have to see what it is that is keeping our inner child in chains. We have to acknowledge that, and we get to move through that. So we get the truth in front of us, we get to deal with the truth, and we get to move forward in a free way. Free from the lies, free from the things that we've been ignoring, and allowing ourselves to really tap into the beautiful, effervescent energy of our inner child, what our inner child really wants to express naturally, especially through the Sagittarian archetype, this optimistic, fun-loving, very friendly, very dreamy, loves to dream, loves to think of the greatest potential, loves to be free, loves to be adventurous, right? Our inner child needs that. So whatever it is that's holding your inner child back from that gets to come up and out. Sagittarius is aiming at truth, and it is not letting that truth, the lie, sneak by, right? It's time to get to the heart of the lie so that truth can be unveiled. All right, my beautiful Pluto in Sagittarians, thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know how this is resonating. Let me know how it plays out. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.